Hi everybody, today's tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to do these twin clusters. As you can see, it is a little bit of a gappy stitch, but they are so very cute. And it kind of looks like there's two clusters huddled over the top of each other. Almost looks a bit like an acorn to me, but anyway. So if we'll grab my hook and we'll get stuck in. So I'm going to come out a little bit so that you can see what I'm doing. So as you can see, I've done a couple of rows here. What we need to do for the first stitch in the row is chain 4, 3, 4, and then that counts obviously as a double plus a chain 1 in American terms, so a treble if you're in the UK. So we'll skip the first stitch. Now basically we do half a cluster in the next stitch, skip a stitch, and half a cluster in the next stitch, and then we join them all together at the top. So I'll show you how we do that now. So we've wrapped our yarn around our hook, so we've got 2 loops on our hook there. And we're going to go into the next stitch, so we're not going into this one because that's where the chains are. Going to go into the next one, wrap our yarn and pull it through. So now we have 3 loops on our hook. Wrap yarn, pull through 2, and we're going to repeat that twice more into the same stitch. So insert your hook, wrap yarn, pull it through, wrap yarn, pull through 2. So now we've got 3 loops on our hook, and once more. So then we'll have 4 loops on our hook. So then you wrap yarn, you skip the next stitch, and you do exactly the same into the next stitch. So you insert your hook, wrap yarn and pull it through. So now we have 5 stitches on our hook. Wrap our yarn, pull through 2. See the 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we'll wrap our yarn, insert it into that same stitch, wrap yarn, pull through, wrap yarn, pull through 2. So now we have 6 stitches on our hook. And once more into the same stitch, and then once we've pulled through 2, you can see we've got the 2 sets of clusters there. We need to wrap our yarn and pull through all 7 stitches on our hook, and then chain 2, and that is the first cluster, twin cluster made. So the next one we're going to start in the very next stitch and follow that principle. So we need to wrap our yarn, insert our hook, wrap our yarn, pull it through. So we've got the 3 loops, wrap our yarn, insert it into the same stitch, follow the same process, go through 2. So now we've got our 4 loops, and once more into the same stitch. So we end up with 5 loops on our hook. Then we'll skip 1 stitch and we'll do the same into the next stitch. So wrap our yarn and pull it through 2. Wrap yarn, insert it into the stitch, wrap it and pull it through, wrap yarn and pull through 2, and once more, wrap your yarn, insert it, wrap yarn and pull through, wrap yarn and pull through 2, and then we'll wrap our yarn and pull through all 7 stitches on our hook, and chain 2. And then the next stitch follows the same principle. Sorry, my yarn ball's running away. So in the very next stitch we need to insert our hook and do our stitches. So wrap our yarn, insert it into the stitch, wrap your yarn and pull through, wrap yarn, pull through 2, and we need to do that a total of 3 times for that stitch. Then we'll skip the next stitch, leave all the loops on our hook, and we'll go into the next stitch, wrap our yarn, insert it into the stitch, wrap your yarn and pull through, wrap your yarn, pull through 2. See that there? And again. And again. Now because this is the last cluster, we're going to wrap our yarn, pull through all 7 stitches, then we're going to chain 1. Remember at the beginning of the row we started with a chain 4 which counted as a double plus a chain 1. So we're ending both rows with a chain 1, and in the very next stitch, which should be the last stitch of the row, so we're not skipping a stitch here, we're going to just do our double crochet. So there's the clusters. Now this is a 2-row repeat. So chain 1, turn. For the base purposes of this sample, I'm gonna not class the chain 1 as a stitch. So in that case, I need to single crochet into the first stitch. Then I need to single crochet into this chain 1 space. And then I need to single crochet, if you can see that, into the top there, the top of the cluster. And then we did a chain 2 between these clusters, so we need to do 2 single crochets into the chain 2 space, and then a single crochet into the top of the next cluster, and then 2 single crochets into the chain 2 space. And then 1 single crochet. This is the last cluster on the row, so we do 1 single crochet into the top of the cluster, and then we had our chain 4 to start, so that counts as a stitch and a single crochet, remember. So we'll do 1 single crochet into the chain 1 space, and we'll do 1 single crochet into the top of that chain 3. There we go. Oops. And that is how you do the twin clusters. So I'll just come in a little bit so that you can have another look at how those clusters look worked up. Really cute. From our perspective, we have a sampler afghan that will be coming out that uses this stitch. You'll be surprised how good it does look in an afghan, particularly a bigger one and a sampler one where you're not going to get the gaps all the way through them. So because of the gaps, it maybe isn't such a great stitch for a baby blanket, but it's nice just for one of those spring summertime ones that you can put over your legs, take the chill off while you're watching your movie before bed. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed this tutorial today. If you'd like to subscribe to our channel, please feel free. If you click the little bell icon, you'll be notified every time we upload a video or anything's going on there. And you can find us in all the usual places, a list of which will be at the end of this video. Thanks very much for taking the time with us today. Bye.